Hey, what's up guys? I got another video for you, just going down my list on my post here. Of course, the second suggestion was Cell Jr., and I think this is a guy that is actually pretty versatile in what you can do with him. Matter of fact, when I was making this deck, um, I already had a second deck. I was almost going to do a second deck, but I'm really just trying to fly through this list. But I'll give you that second deck idea and pretty much the cards I would throw in and how they would change this deck. For the most part, the decks would stay the same, but a handful of cards would change. So we went with Oppressive Cell Jr. Now, the idea for this deck mainly comes from, of course, you know that Cell Jr. does really good in Adept because of his level 1, which most Cell Jr. decks are going to just try to sit on 1. His levels, as you go up, really just don't really do that much. They're not very good. But the level 1 has got a very, very good power. Um, with this build specifically, we paired it up with the Oppressive Mastery here. Mainly just for the stage onslaught, the skipping and being able to just throw out your level 1. Um, and with Saiyan, you have two kind of routes that you can go. You can either go drill package or you can go ally package. I feel if you try to do both, you kind of just get too many cards muddied. Um, but I feel like this is a pretty decent list, at least to start. Maybe you like this list and you'll want to try it. Maybe this isn't for you already because you're not an Oppressive fan. Like I said, there are Adept decks out there. There are also Radiant Ball decks. I've seen that work pretty good. Uh, but for now, we'll focus on the Oppressive one here. And like I said, Trust Oppressive, just being able to get that skip to pull off a bunch of stage attacks has really good synergy, I feel. Being able to throw an attack in your level 1, at least minimum at someone, is really, really good. On top of just the passive rejuvenation is really nice, and the stage loss. So this is a deck I've definitely seen a few people build before. Specifically, I've seen Joshua Gregory build this deck. His list was a little bit different than mine, and it was also back in set 10 when he made it, and was mostly playing it. But the core of the cards that we want in here are mostly from that set and before. So the list could be pretty similar as it was back then. But we start off with Saiyan Corruption Drill. Now I chose the drill package mainly because I like the drill suite. I like Saiyan Turning Kick a lot. It gives you a critical attack. Um, the drill package builds you up advantage in kind of a different way. You'll see why I chose the drill package specifically, but this is one of the reasons why mainly. This card combos with your level 1 really well. What's nice is if you search this card with your level 1 after it hits, you can use the skip effect on it the moment it enters play because you've performed a successful attack and skip your opponent, gain some stages back. Really, really nice. Some extra skipping going, gives you some extra slime stages against a physical matchup. Extra action robbing of your opponent, really nice. You don't have any cards that destroyed from your deck in this, but we don't really matter, or we don't really honestly care about that part. It's really for just that instant power, for some extra clutch stages when you need it, or some extra combat chaining. We have Suppression Drill to 1 as well. You're going to see all these drills right now are 1. I could maybe see running more than 1 of each, or not of each, but some of them. But really that's going to come with the testing and the territory. But Suppression Drill works with the whole skipping mechanic that we're using. It's a little extra mill, and also a good way to keep your opponent down on stages, which that's going to be a theme. Originally I had Hanging Out Drill in here, and you'll see that that's not in here. That's usually a drill that I'm usually prone to cut. I think Cell Jr. is one of the few MPs that can pull that drill off consistently, being that he can tutor it. So that would be a consideration, but for this build I cut it. But I really do like the Suppression Drill at 1. Very, very good. Maybe probably will end up going to a 2. Saints Swift Sword Drill. Now this is why you'd run the drill package right here. This card, being able to tutor it because it does have the constant on it. Um, Being able to have this card to tutor sword cards, which Saiyan does have some of the best sword cards in the game. Not to mention if you were to change up my list, I don't run Dashing Sword Attack, but you could run that in here. It's just extra advantage, and that's what's nice, which you'll see that I have Aggressive Sword Drill in here. Another reason why you'd want to maybe run this level 1 and with drills is because of the Aggressive Sword Drill, you're getting a +1 to your hand versus the Ally package. You're not really getting a +1 to your hand. I suppose the closest +1 to your hand would be King Vegeta Ally, and maybe Bardock Ally if somebody smacked you down to 0, but we do also have access to Nappa, which is another reason why Ally package is good, but this sword setup here is the main reason why I'm taking the drill package. We have Protection Drill at 1, just a very good drill, helps you stay in the game longer. Really nice when you combo with Saiyan Turning Kick to just put that back in your deck and get a drill. Just to help protects you from getting crit by random stuff, not that you really care. But just extra longevity can throw you an extra card every combat back into your deck. Saiyan Showdown Drill, of course, this drill is awesome. This is definitely a drill that probably should go to a 2, I feel, if you have the slot space. +2 on all your attacks, damage can't be directed to allies. It just goes with that stage onslaught mentality, and being able to just grab this from turn 1 to be dropping like a 6-stage physical. Or sorry, it only does your styles, but still being able to just drop, you know, AT6 physicals, with a lot of these same physicals being AT4, AT3 for AT5s, is really, really strong, and just unredirectable damage, very, very good. Of course, we have Saiyan Overpowering Aura Drill. Now, this is really nice. We don't run too many attached cards in this deck, but it's still really good. It still combos really well. It does combo really well with the 2 attached cards that we have in here that I'll show you when we get to them. But also just the passive anger lowering. Every time you retrieve with the mastery, an extra anger lower. It doesn't seem like much, and there really aren't too many effects that do actually rejuvenate cards, but it is still something to be appreciated, and its combo potential with our 2 attached cards is very, very nice. Not to mention the endurance is very, very nice too. So as you can see, you know, 2 of our drills have actual endurance on them. I mean, technically 3 because Sword Drill, the Swift Sword Drill, but it doesn't really matter. We don't run any effects like Rampaging that we need the endurance for, but really just a little extra beefiness from these drills versus like if you ran the ally package. To round it out, we got Aggressive Sword Drill. I mean, this should probably go to a 2 spacing right now. Again, I think a couple of these drills could go to 2s depending on how we find the room for them and how much less aggro we want to be. There's definitely some cards I could see getting cut out of here for them, but again, this is a preliminary build. Aggressive Sword Drill, though, you have a really good sword sweep with Saiyan cards. Plenty of reasons to run sword in Saiyan right here. And you'll see that a really nice combo in the deck is that you can grab this from turn 1 with your level 1, which saves it from a certain card that I'll be showing you that's in this deck. Earthball 7 to round out, just because Oppressive likes to end combat. And, you know, you never know when you might need this, where you might have kind of a subpar hand against a more heavier beats deck. Or you just maybe want to chain out your physicals to end combat at the end. Very, very nice, though, especially when you combine it with Captivity Drill. Corruption Drill with your level 1, being able to enter the styled physical, throw your level 1, hit with that, get another skip, and then just end a combat. It's just nice. Of course, we have Saiyan Pregame, staple in any Oppressive deck. Most Saiyan decks, skip your opponent's first action. Always means that you get to kind of have the 1-up on your opponent. Combos really well with your level 1. Being able to throw your level 1 first and still get a skip, and then throw into styled attacks to kind of help set up grabbing the drills that you might want to buff up your attacks. So just Showdown, very, very nice. Or the Sword Drill. We have 1 Saiyan Menace. This is just a nice splash of 1. I really like it. I like this card when it hits a 2 of in a lot of my Oppressive decks, but it's just very, very, I think, good. Sure, you can't tutor it out, but you can occasionally loop it with the Mastery and Saiyan Rescue, which is one of the 2 attached cards I've been talking about so much. Again, you combo that. You can get that if you do get that out. You know, you can combo your level 1 to go grab the Overpowering Aura Drill here, and you're able to go grab that Saiyan Rescue, which then you can activate to bring that Menace into play. Just like one of the cool little mini combos of the deck that you can be pulling out, and this does a lot of work against ally decks. So we have Saiyan Recovery at a 3. This could definitely be moved to maybe even removed to make room for extra drills. I think since we are not playing Nappa in the ally build, it's worth running Recovery, being able to lock opponents into combat for the right matchup against like Black, for example. Being able to keep them in combat, really, really good for you. Of course, we have a Time is Warriors tool. Don't need to say much about that. As far as the attached cards go, the 1 Saiyan Rescue, again, combos with Menace, helps you kind of recur maybe your drills if they get hit in the pile, you know, which is really what we want it for, which is really, really nice because it means that no matter what, as long as they're not getting banished, we can get them back in the deck and search them. Of course, we have Saiyan Sword Skill as well. This is comboing with the skipping effects. We're really just going to try to get this attached and just skip the hell out of your opponent. It helps a lot with your level 1. We have it at a 2. Probably good at 2. It's nice. You can tutor this card to with the Aggressive Sword Drill as just an extra card to your hand to filter for Mastery, worst case scenario. Same with the Sword Drill. You can always just tutor them to hand to pitch the Mastery, which is nice. And then, like I said, with the Saiyan Rescue attached, at the 1 helps you recycle your sword cards. Start the recording again here. Just very, very neat little combo there. That'll be pretty helpful. Next we have, oops, gotta close that here. Next we have surprise attack at 3. Now, one thing I noticed when I was building this is at least I had a very low amount of freestyles. I did want to kind of put dashing sword attack in here and on the move, but once I cut hanging out drill, on the move wasn't as important, and I think outrage would honestly have been better, which that is a card that you could definitely maybe slot in here if you find the spacing or you find it's better than maybe one of the blocks I'm running. But I think the freestyle cards that we are running are time, which I think is just worth having for the sacky nature of time if you get it early before surprise attack. And aggressive sword drill you can tutor out with your level 1, so you can enter combat, do your level 1 and get this aggressive sword drill, and then throw the surprise attack, which is another reason why aggressive sword drill's at 1. But the surprise attack is generally probably never going to actually hit you for anything more than maybe your time as a warrior's tool. Generally, it's probably never going to hit you for your aggressive sword drill. But being able to kill your opponent's freestyle cards, against 13, impenetrable defense, killing Supreme Crest Telepathy, killing time as warrior's tool, unleashed, whatever you need to, I think it's worth running, especially in this build. I think it works really, really well. And then if you get, of course, corruption drill out, you can still get a skip off it. We have the blocks. So this is our 1 freestyle card in the deck other than time. But we have, we'll walk into the blocks. So energy release, of course, it gives you a skip. We run it at 2, just for the skip effect. And we run a 1 of crouch. Sorry, this is the 3rd attached card. We run this purely because of body blow, which you'll see in a moment. This card attaches and gives you extra PUR. We're going to be sitting on 1, so making sure that we keep our power stages high. We're mostly going to just be feeding the mastery skips into our stages. So with this and the master skips, I mean, you should be getting quite a few extra stages, at least probably. You should be at least probably getting, 4 stages of combat, let's just say average, between the amount of skipping cards and the potential of skip with the corruption drill. But also with this card giving you a plus 3 PUR is really, really, plus 3 PUR with your level 1, which is a 3 PUR. You have a PUR of 6 on level 1. With all the skipping, it can really help soak up an extra physical or 2 worth of damage depending on the matchup every combat, which I think is really, really underrated right now. So at a 1 of, I think it's plenty good. You're really probably never going to be actually playing this as a block for the most part, but works really good. Oh damn, am I not even recording? Oop. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to have to stretch out this a little bit longer, but that all wasn't recording while I was doing that, but we'll just go over these cards here real quick. Of course, now my images are all messed up. Of course, my hotkey messes up my my whole thing here. But yeah, I'll just show you the cards real quick, but this is why we're running them. We get down to the reverse catch here. Right at 3, it's run because it's got a skip. So that's why we're running it. Still a very good card. You combo this with the mastery, just more stages in the physical matchup. Saiyan grab, of course. Actually, we'll get down to this misplaced here. We got sword dodge at 3 because it's a sword card. We can tutor it if we need the physical block against like a black matchup where we want to worry about deburst or whoever. And being able to tutor itself or a sword card with the discard effect, really, really nice. Of course, we got 3 Saiyan grab. This is a card that really rarely gets blocked, but especially if we're doing stage beats, it can be potentially unstoppable and net us a card. So very, very strong out of 3. Sword strike, of course, keeping with sword cards. This potentially can be a very, very strong card. If you're able to stage lock your opponent, or if they passed, definitely strong card. We have body blow here, of course, to tutor the crouch in the physical matchup, to tutor the sword strikes for the sword skills when we want to try to maybe end combat, or we want to just skip for a bunch of beat, or put that rescue out when we need it, like a clutch rescue. We also have Saiyan Legendary Strike here. This card, of course, being anti-anger, you can play it defensively as anti-anger with a parenthetical. Very, very nice. It definitely needs to be 3 of. Severing Punch, of course, another anti-anger, anti-unleash card, helping keep our opponents down on level is what we want, so we can keep beating them in. Definitely one of the best Saiyan physicals in the game. Saiyan Spin Kick, of course, another one. Lower your opponent's anger, destroys allies. On top of this with Showdown Joe, clearing allies is a breeze, in theory, so we'll see. The biggest thing we got to worry about is just passively maybe angering, but as you can see, most of our physicals here don't give anger. with Spin Kick being the one exception. And rarely ever you're gonna. I don't think you're ever really gonna want to go off this one. So that is one issue with the deck, is if you get knocked off your level 1. Gut Kick here, of course, skipping, physical, everything that we want. It's a perfect card for this deck. Next you have Turning Kick. With Turning Kick, of course, you have a critical attack. It's very easy to set this card up to where you grab a Style Drill, and it's instantly a 7 life card attack. Very, very strong. Saiyan Unleashing Drill is one that combos really nicely with this because it adds an extra life card modifier to your physical attacks, but right now space, and honestly, that extra life doesn't really matter, and against a lot of people that one, some people do have modifiers, negative life card modifiers, that are just going to make it do nothing anyway. But Turning Kick really, really strong if it gets knocked off your deck. For Endurance, you get to keep getting those drills out of the pile, so as long as your drills aren't getting banished, between Rescue and this card, you can generally see them back. And with most of our attacks here having Endurance, or rather at least half of them having Endurance, you can recycle these cards when they're knocked off your deck with the Protection Drill up here, of course, as well as your blocks all having Endurance means you can put them back in your deck when you need them, with the exception, of course, of Sword Dodge here. But about to round out the attacks here with these last 3. Saiyan Trample out of 3, this is a great card for certain decks, and I think this is one of them. You have pretty good AT with Cell Jr. I think he actually gets up into E on his level 1. And with all stage gaining you're going to have, you should be able to probably maintain at least a C rating. Very easy to get up into the D and the E though, I think. So you can throw that for some pretty big damage, but also it tells your opponent that if they level, they go to 0. So you just keep up the physical beats, which is what we're trying to do. And because we're trying to keep the styled cards, we don't want to be running things like Shoulder Slam or Dove Blow. So this is a very, very good card, and it does give you a little bit of rejuvenation. So you can occasionally cheese this with the overpowering Aura Drill here, as well as maybe getting a random rejuvenation for Saiyan Menace. We have, of course, Elbow Drop and Shattering Blow. Now, Elbow Drop, of course, we're going to run it at 2 because you're not always going to necessarily have stages, or you're not necessarily always going to want it, but being a double use attack with the skip, pretty nice that you can sacrifice 1 card out of your hand, or against a Mischievous Mastery matchup, you can keep this on the table for its second use to still get a draw after you've been mastered. Shattering Blow, of course, control combat. Same with Earthball 7. If you just want to dip out of a combat. And since we're not running Blinding, I mean, this is what we have to kind of play off the synergy with the Mastery ending combat and skipping. But anyway, this is my list. I think this is a pretty solid looking list. I mean, again, I could see probably Aggressive Sword, well, maybe Aggressive Sword Drill going to 2, but I think with the Surprise Attacks in there, it's a good one. I could see second Showdown Drill. Suppression Drill maybe 2. But as you can see, we're trying to keep them low with just beats, pull out Suppression Drill, pull out Showdown Drill, try to just keep beating on them. If they do get some allies out and we can't kill them, you got the Menace in here. You have Recovery to lock people in. There's pretty good amount of endurance. Let's see. We got 3. I think there was 20 something cards of endurance. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 cards of endurance that actually have meaningful endurance on top of Shattering Blow and Sword Drill that you can rejuvenate with Protection Drill when they're banished for endurance, if you want to banish them. So 27 cards that you can put back with Protection Drill, nearly half the deck, but 24 cards with meaningful endurance, and most of which are 2 or more endurance, 2 or 3 endurance, so pretty tanky, helps you slug out against a lot of decks, and again, keeping people's stages down with the Trample, the Suppression Drill, just the pure onslaught of stage beats. Really, really powerful, a lot of skip potential. I think this could be a very, very fun deck, and like I said, you could run this deck more of like the ally variant. I think the ally variant can run pretty good. But again, if I was going to do the ally version, I would cut all the drills, so that would free you up about 6 slots, about enough slots for the allies, and then I would probably cut Recovery, because I would be running Nappa, and I would cut Menace. I would probably cut the attached cards, like Body Blow, and I'd maybe keep rescue at a 1 just because, but I would cut the 2 sword skill, and I would run Turles, King Vegeta, Nappa, um, maybe Tora, just for probably not Tora, but I'd run those, probably regular, just Vegeta ally. I'd run Paragus and maybe Broly. Broly would kind of be dependent. But I would also run the 3 Saiyan reinforcements. In case you don't know what that card does, it's the card that Trevor made. Really, really good card. Now you don't get to use Clench, but this is an ally tutor for Saiyan ally, so that's why I would run it. And I'd run the Saiyan overhead kick. Oops. Is it? Isn't it over? I would just do Saiyan. Oh, that's because this is in there. That's why. Of course, that card being another styled tutor here. So between those 2 cards, and I would take out the surprise attack as well. And for that, in its place, I'd probably run 3 Sobering Hammer, just to keep the allies going, and maybe try to fit 1 more Saiyan ally in, or a Ginyu ally would be good. I feel if you're going to go Cell Junior Ginyu ally is also a very good pick. But anyway, I hope this kind of gives you some ideas of maybe the path that you could go. Like I said, those are the 2 changes I would make. Otherwise, I feel like the core set of attacks would stay the same. Maybe I could see you cutting Spin Kick out of your deck and running Saiyan Smack instead. That is an awesome, awesome card. That would be probably, I don't know, I think that actually makes you lose stages 2 on your allies here. All allies, yeah. So I wouldn't even run that card. So that would be, I guess, one problem. Maybe instead of Saiyan Spin Kick, you could run Pinpoint as a potential ally killer. I think Saiyan Surprise also kills your own allies, that's one of the issues with playing Saiyan in general, is that they have a lot of like self-kill of your own board and allies specifically. Same thing with Broly runs Eraser Cannon. What am I looking for again? Not Spin Kick, Surprise. I don't know why Surprise doesn't show up in the search. Surprise, that word does not show up. Okay, so you could run Surprise still with Cell Junior. You just have to be higher power level, which, if you're an E and you're beating their stages down, very, very easy. But anyway, guys, hopefully that kind of helps you out. I'd love to see what you guys think. Maybe this isn't the Cell Junior for you, but if you hung around, I really appreciate it. And hopefully you've been enjoying these builds. I'll be bringing more to the future. So thanks for the watch, guys.